And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking Jordan. We're talking who is the best Jordan driver. And to be fair, there's quite a few. We got from Rubens Barrichello, debuting in 1993, getting that awesome race in Donington and their first pole position in 1994 at the Belgium Grand Prix. Fast forward to the Belgium Grand Prix just 4 years later, and you get their first win, but not only their first win, their first 1-2, with Damon Hill leading Ralf Schumacher. Forward to the next year, when Heinz Frentzen joined, for example, and you have a man in 1999 that was an outside bet for the championship, still with a couple of races still to go, and notched 2 Jordan victories. Or we've got Giancarlo Fisichella. He nearly won the German Grand Prix in 1997, had it not been for a bit of a mistake and a blown tyre. But I don't think anyone was going to stop Gerhard Berger. We'll never know. Maybe there's a parallel universe where that happens. Who could forget Eddie Irvine in 1993 trying to unlap himself from a very cross Ayrton Senna in the wet, who then decided to pin him up against the wall by his neck. F1 Jordan, they were around from 1991, I think, to 2005 when they ended up selling up, which is really, really sad. But Jordan, if you don't know, is now the Aston Martin team. They were, though, in 2005 sold to the Midland Group. Eddie Jordan, the wheeler dealer, you might know him from a BBC F1 Channel 4. He does a podcast with DC now, and he has funnily enough, been Adrian Newey's manager. But before that, in the early 90s, from 1991, he was very much Jordan, the F1 team boss for what was arguably one of the most fun teams in Formula One. But I digress. Let's now get into our top 3 Jordan drivers. And at number 3, yes, I have already mentioned him. It is this guy right here, debuting for Jordan in the 1993 season, and at Donington, running up as high as 3rd in that legendary race, and also securing, Jordan's, well, to be fair, he secured quite a few firsts for Jordan, including his first pole position and Jordan's first pole position in 1994 at Spa, Belgium. But even prior to that, he went on to notch their first podium in the 1994 Pacific Grand Prix in Japan. So he was well regarded also for his technical feedback. He was fast. Let's be fair, he did end up going to Ferrari. He did end up going, though, in 1997 to Stewart. And it was a Stollard, the main man, I think, in the Stewart's Grand Prix. So, everyone loves Barrichello. We love Barrichello. It's kind of sad he never did quite get a win. But when we look at his stats, it's not bad at all. So his stats are 64 races, 0 wins, 2 podiums, and obviously that 1 pole position, which is not bad at all. So Rubens Barrichello is number 2 on our list. Who's number 3? Sorry, because now we're talking about number 2. I do apologise. It's this man here. Surprise for some. You could have made an argument for swapping both Damon Hill and Rubens Barrichello, and I think you pretty much would have been okay. So I'm basing Damon Hill, though, really on just 1 year with the Jordan team, but it was a pivotal year. And he made his place in history for Team Silverstone, or Jordan at the time, by taking that first victory in Spa in 1998, in what was, for the Jordan team, an absolutely magnificent second half of the season. The first half of the year was not particularly good in 98, and it came quite disappointing, because everyone thought, after the 1997 season, people even argued in the 1997 car, maybe more experienced, not necessarily better, because they had Ralf Schumacher and Giancarlo Fisichella. More experienced drivers may have won. There were epic rumours that even Nigel Mansell, in some kind, could have made it to the 1997 Jordan rumours. But I can't help but feel if Jordan had signed Damon Hill, I reckon they could have won a race in 97. Also, had they kept Martin Brundle from the 96 to 97 season, they could have won a race, I thought, and it would have been Martin Brundle's first ever race victory. So let's not talk about Damon Hill's 1999 season. Yes, he did score points, but I think simply because he did get that first win, he was very much the main man in the team. If you remember Spa over the radio, it has been talked about a lot. He basically said, no, implied that if you don't put team orders in, we could completely lose this race. And also, what people do forget, who could forget that Jordan, I think they ended up finishing 3rd, I believe, in 1998. beating Williams on, I think it was pretty much the last lap, with Damon Hill, I think, doing a death-defying move on Hein Hakkinen and helping secure Jordan what was their highest finish in the Constructors' Championship at the time. And we cannot also forget Damon Hill's technical feedback towards the end of his career. 1999 was a really, really sad season, so it was really difficult to put both Hill and Barrichello against each other, but Hill gets it simply just because of that win. And of his 32 races, he did only get that one podium and that one win, but he got quite a few points as well for the team. So nothing to laugh about at all. You may well have guessed though, who's going to be our number one by now. It's this man here. It's Sauber's own, Mercedes' own at one point, Williams' own at one point, but his home from home, I think, is now Jordan. I know he's really successful at Sauber. The man that many said was quicker than Michael Schumacher. He didn't really prove it in Formula 1, but what he did prove, though, is with the right team and the right support, and I think an arm around his shoulder, Heinz Hakkinen reigned supreme in that Jordan. He was an enigma, as a lot of people say, in 1999. He emerged as an unlikely threat. He won in both France and Italy. Now, interestingly, the French Grand Prix was a wet race. He won because not only of his fantastic drive, but also the fact that they put loads of fuel in the car. I think it was Mike Gascoigne's idea, and he carried on going and going. It's kind of sad that his career ultimately fizzled out after his mid-season sacking in 2001, where Eddie Jordan had admitted he did that to get engines. But maybe that is for another day. However, Heinz Hakkinen, I mean, he's the only man in Jordan to win more than one race. Fisichella's won a race as well. And he's the only man in Jordan to maybe fight, where we can talk about he legit had a chance with a few races to go at the Formula 1 Championship. So you can't knock that at all. Now, when we look at Heinz Hakkinen stats, he's done 43 races. He's had 2 wins, 8 podiums, and 1 pole position. I mean, that is not bad at all. Hail Heinz Hakkinen, most definitely. And we'll get into all of them. We'll do a quick review of them in a second. But I just want to talk about the other people that didn't quite make it. Ralf Schumacher, for example, 33 Grand Prix wins. Sadly, he did not get any podiums. And it was Heinz Hakkinen with his 8 podiums. So he didn't do too bad, though. Also, Eddie Irvine, we can't ignore as well. He did 31 races for the Jordan team. I think he was banned for a race, wasn't he, after his whoopsie-daisy in Brazil in 1994 with Martin Brundle and Jos Verstappen. A really scary crash. I'm sure it's going to be on YouTube somewhere. Other people we've forgotten. We cannot forget Giancarlo Fisichella. 49 races for Jordan. He left in 97 to Benetton, and then he came back and he won the 2003 Brazilian Grand Prix. The race was cut short. They did fill that car up a lot. Was he lucky? Yes, but you got to make your own luck. You got to be in it to win it, so to speak. He was there, and when it counted, he won. Although, on the track, Kimi Raikkonen got the podium, got to spray the champagne, and it wasn't until, I think, Imola, the San Marino Grand Prix, the next race, where they kind of exchanged it. I mean, Takuma Sato also drove for Jordan. So did John Alesi. Michael Schumacher, we can't forget that. But it's just the one race. It's a bit difficult. Sakon Yamamoto. Yeah, Ralph Furman, another one, who I think I can't help but feel should have done maybe better. Jarno Trulli, Diego Montero, Nick Heidfeld, Narain Carter-Kane. Yes, indeed. Giorgio Pantono, Stefano Modena. These are all drivers that drove either for Jordan or the actual Silverstone team. But we'll be talking about some of the other drivers maybe a bit later. It's mainly only Jordan we're going on about today. So, deep breath. Let's then have a look. Let's then revisit all of our fantastic drivers. There are the Hill stats there. I'm just going to get rid of them. Is that Barrichello stats? Yeah, it is. See you later, Barrichello. So, top 3 Jordan drivers. Just remind yourself, Rubens Barrichello at number 3, the man that's nearly scored so well in 1993 at Donington, but he did get their first pole position with 64 races in total and 2 podiums. Not bad, Rubens, whatsoever. But at number 2, we have Damon Hill, the man that won Jordan's first races. Rubens got their first podium. It was elation. For 1998 Belgium Grand Prix of Jordan 1-2 with Hill. 32 races, 1 win, 1 podium. Sadly, no pole positions, but the best driver for Jordan, in our opinion, is this man. The man that nearly fought for, or did fight for, the 1999 title. Could have won it, maybe, in a different universe with his 43 race wins, 43 races, 2 race wins, 8 podiums, and 1 pole position. That's pretty much it for our Jordan talk. I'd love to talk about this team even more. Maybe we'll do like a whole history of Jordan at one point, depending how this videos go. But I want to do, thank you so much. If you liked what you see, please give us a subscribe. That would be absolutely fantastic. And we will no doubt speak to you soon. So stay safe.